Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Monday, the 23rd of June, 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. So Carl Dupe said Bitcoin miners are broke, but they're not selling. Why? They barely have any BTC left to dump. He said the pain is real, but the risk contained for now. They're starting to notice, and again, I mean, we've been watching and following these charts for a long time now, so we'll have just a quick run through of these figures. CSW really on fire about what's going on, and I mean, letting on that he actually knows what's going on now. So some great posts which we'll go through and discuss when we get there. The Kellenschweller countdown is still on. We've got some 365 days of Bitcoin history. And then that'll be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. Yeah, so Carl Noop's saying Bitcoin miners are broke, but they're not selling because they don't have any. Why? He said they barely have any BTC left to dump. The pain is real, but the risk contained for now. Interesting, because CSW said that he predicted that, like, in the end there will probably be only 6 exceptionally large mining operations, and there just happens to be 6 mining operations on the genuine Bitcoin. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, well, 5. But there was what's 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. What was the other one? Mining Dutch. Usually trying to get a look in on stuff like that. But these miners they've been effectively like borrowing funds, in the hope that the Bitcoin price will rise, because you've got the likes of Adam Back and Samson Mao and Michael Saylor going, oh yeah, BTC is going to be like $1 million, and it needs to be like at least $250,000 right now, blah 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 blah. But it just goes to show you that these miners have all the gear and no idea. Literally no idea what's going on. No understanding of the fundamentals, because these people, the cabal, have hidden it from them. Oh, that's right, yeah, so you're not going to use it. Right, so it's useless. So not only are you not going to use it, we're also going to make it so you can't use it. We're going to restrict the network to a 1 megabyte block size and make sure that no transactions have got any contractual credibility by segregating the digital signatures from the transaction data. Literally, it just goes to show you that people that can sometimes spend millions on mining operations have literally forgotten or looked past one minute but absolutely critical and obvious detail, and they've completely missed it. So look, they're saying, look, Bitcoin miner selling power, long scale, and again, like, cashing out. This is what I've been pointing out right here on this chart. Like, they've literally been cashing out. This is the exchange reserves. So the miners have been selling, and the exchanges have also been selling the bags on retail. But I mean, the miners should be keeping their BTC for longevity, unless they're selling just to cover their running costs, because costs are going up and stuff like that. Maybe they're sitting on piles of dollars because that's what everybody's using it for. Just literally like a dollar Ponzi scheme is what it is. You get in before everybody else, and then you try and predict where the top is, and you sell before everyone else. That's literally it, because he doesn't do anything with it. People are thinking they're treating them like they're stocks and shares, but they don't have a dividend. They don't have an income. It's so ridiculous. But we know what's going on. Good for everybody here listening to this show. So let's have a quick look at the figures while we're here before we go into CSW's posts. Great coin up to $101,000, but Bitcoin still at 29. Hash rate 0.05, network nodes 0.18, transactions 51.76, block size 91.5. Remember, block size and transactions are sanity, network nodes and hash rate are vanity. because you don't need network nodes or hash rate if you haven't got any block size or transactions. So wherever the block size is, and remember it's the transactions that just simply upload the data, which is in the memory pool, which is represented by the block size, and then the network nodes process the transactions, build blocks, and supply the hash rate. But they can't do that if there isn't any transactions, and there won't be any transactions if there's no data being uploaded onto the network. That's the whole point. It's a data security network. But have a look at some of these blocks coming through. We've got 112 megabyte there. That's pretty good. So more megabytes there in that one block than the entire column over on a Gradecoin. Gradecoin got no blocks over 2 megabytes. Bcrash, not even a single megabyte block. And Fisher Price Cash still struggling to get all their blocks over a kilobyte, let alone anywhere near a megabyte. It's a complete joke, but you wouldn't think of that by looking at the prices here or the market cap. What an absolute joke that is. 73,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gradecoin. Mining Bitcoin at a 62.5% comparable loss. It's 4.6% more profitable to mine on Fisher Price Cash and 3% more profitable to mine on Bcrash. But let's have a look at the politics in the pie charts, because that's where it really is. Global hash rate 7 days, 24 hours. Gradecoin hash rate other miners 9.03. 48.61 on Bcrash other miners, and other miners 54.86 on Fisher Price Cash. And we've just looked at the pie charts there for a genuine Bitcoin. Let's have a look at this though. The longs. So the longs are still heading up a little bit, but I mean they've massively dropped off. So we've got a short ratio now. 0.8%. Oh, look at that! It's because the shorts have actually increased. The shorts have increased and the longs have come down. Good grief. So that's like 8. Yeah, 0.85. So we're knocking on the door of 1%. When have we ever seen that? But these are the charts you really need to be looking at. Not these ones here, which is the price. So total market cap $3 trillion. But Gradecoin, look at that. So we're trying to recover after that dip yesterday. Literally dropped off a cliff, bounced back again. Volume is just 48 billion, representing just 2.4% of the overall market cap. And it's $1 trillion market cap. $1 trillion. But, it's the number of coins. So you would divide 48.7 billion by 101,000. So we know now it's roughly sort of like 300,000 coins. That's really not many compared to what early miners are holding. All you need is one big whale to change your mind, and that's it. The market is literally gone. But obviously the whale would be blamed for doing that. But let's have a quick look at Bitcoin here. Down at number $86.29. See what's happened to the price. So it went all the way down. That's the 24-hour, 28.28. 24-hour high, 29.75. Absolute bargain. Breakdown. So Huobi apparently leading the charge in terms of volume. CoinDCX in second. Not sure if I believe that. And then Hotcoin, Global third. CoinEX, others, and then OKX down there. It just changes. Erratically. And that's volume. But I mean, liquidity is what you really want, because you don't really want to be trading these things, not in the long run anyway. You just literally go on and exchange it. That's literally all you do. But when the utility demand comes on, there'll be people buying it all the time. Constant buying pressure. So, won't be any good for speculators, as CSW has already predicted. And so let's look at Bitcoin versus Gradecoin. So again, I mean, they're trying to manage it, because Bitcoin was breaking out against Gradecoin just yesterday, and then it broke out again. Then they're sort of trying to bring it down, but it's all artificial. Right, let's have a look at some of these CSW posts, liking these. He said 1776, obviously that was the Civil War, so it was 4th of July 1776 is when it came to an end. They say freedom came to America, but he said a 3% tax on tea, fetch my musket, we ride at dawn. because they were so pissed off at 3%. And he said now they took 41% of my income, audited my savings, taxed my groceries, penalised my side hustle, and debanked me for not using inclusive pronouns. But at least I got a biodegradable straw. literally, this is how it started, and this is how it's going right now. Absolutely crazy. So he said freedom was once fire and flintlock. Now it's submitting your biometric ID to file a deduction for socks. You, America, used to dodge bullets for liberty. Now you fill out forms in a triplicate for the privilege of being mugged politely by someone with a clipboard. We didn't evolve, we got domesticated. Revolutionary spirit replaced with online surveys asking how the audit made us feel. CSW is onto it. He is onto it like a rat up a drain pipe. Nothing gets past him. But yeah, look at that. 3% on tax on tea. Fetch my musket, we ride at dawn. And now just sort of like, oh yeah, don't really mind. They took 40% of my income, audited my savings, taxed my groceries, penalised my side hustle, and debanked me for not using pronouns. And at least I got a biodegradable straw. Absolutely nails it. Absolutely nails it. It's crazy. And again, this is why the world needs Bitcoin. And he knows all this. I mean, I've done a lot of thinking over the years, realizing what he's created. But he was decades in front, absolutely mind blowing, and he knows all of this. It's just the amount of knowledge this man has got is just absolutely staggering. I guess it also comes with a lot of responsibility having a memory like that, like a memory like an elephant, like jeepers. I mean, how would you deal with all the stuff that you learn and know? Because most people's brains filter the bad stuff out as much as you can, whereas his brain just absorbs all of it. But at least he's got a sense of humour about it, like sarcasm. That's awesome. Loving this one. Vikram said, does anyone think it's weird that Jeffrey Epstein had a painting of George Bush playing with paper airplanes sitting in front of two collapsed Jenga towers? Well, exactly. We all know what it's all about. This is what we're up against. This is why the world needs Bitcoin. So CSW also said the system smiled, but its teeth were cracked. Could this be a metaphor for what is coming? The system smiled, but its teeth were cracked. Oh dear. He's also said, actually, I wonder if this is one that I've just. Hey, oh well, we're coming to that one, right? Let's get on to this one then, where he said, when the F has the American government ever done anything positive to stop anything? Honestly, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Iraq, they don't bring peace. They don't bring peace. They bring drones, debt, and disaster. Well, exactly. I mean, this is what we were looking at. There's a post there from Colonel Gaddafi when he was literally liberating Libya, wanting to, build one of the largest waterways that would have watered the desert. Literally, everybody in Libya was happy, and then he refused to have a central bank from the Rothschilds, and they just went in and literally annihilated his country. And he was the one that said, "If you get rid of me, then Europe will be flooded." With third world Africans. He knew what their plan was all along. Maybe he knew too much, and that's why they had to get rid of him, because it's a mafia that you're up against, jeepers. But CSW knows, he knows, and that was in response to Coco Cheyenne saying, but what about the dictatorships? What about the people who can't do anything about them and spend 40 to 50 years of their lives under the ideological dictatorship? It is a bad thing that the US goes to help those people. Oh, right, yeah. Whoever it is that's behind that profile, completely deluded about what the US is, what the US actually really is. It's a cover. It's a cover for a totalitarian dictatorship. Literally, guised as freedom. Freedom this, freedom that. But what we're going to do is just smash all the countries that don't have a central bank. We'll enslave them. We'll tell everybody that the system is good and everybody's back to using a US dollar. So the US dollar, those who are Americans think that they can have their way in the world. They're absolutely deluded. And CSW calling them out on them. What have they actually honestly done? So again, Vietnam didn't want a central bank. Afghanistan, you didn't want a central bank. Iraq didn't want a central bank. Libya didn't want a central bank. You know, and look at them all. Look at them all now, literally. And these countries literally had some of the most historic relics known to us, and they've literally gone, confiscated them, destroyed them. Destroying our history is what's really going on. So he continued, he said, the myth that the United States spreads democracy is a persistent delusion maintained not through historical evidence but through political theatre and selective amnesia. The truth is far more cynical. The US does not seek democracy abroad, it seeks compliance. If democracy produces outcomes favourable to American interests, it is tolerated. But the moment a sovereign electorate chooses a path that diverges from Washington's preferences, the very same institutions that Americans claim to hold scarce, sacred elections, parliaments, constitutions, and treated as disposable obstacles to geopolitical control. The 1953 Iranian coup remains one of the clearest illustrations of this duplicity. Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh was not a radical. He was a secular reformist, democratically elected and widely popular for his anti-colonial stance. His primary offence was attempting to nationalise Iran's oil industry, daring to assert that Iranians, not British or American corporations, should benefit from Iranian resources. In response, the CIA and MI6 orchestrated a covert operation, Operation Ajax, to topple his government, bribe press and clergy, and install a dictator. That's what happened. That is exactly what happened. The Shah, restored to power, ruled with brutal repression for decades. The democratic parliament was neutered. Political opponents were tortured or disappeared by SAVAK. And the Shah's secret police, trained and funded by the United States. The coup did not merely interrupt Iran's experiment with democracy, it annihilated it. The Islamic Revolution of 1797, which replaced monarchy with theocratic rule, was not some inexplicable launch into extremism. It was a delayed consequence of betrayal. When a population watches a superpower destroy its democratic institutions for oil profits, the backlash does not arrive with ballots, it arrives with rage. This pattern is not unique. Guatemala 1954, Chile 1973, Congo 1960, and countless other nations suffered the same fate. Yeah, all the, that's where the term banana republic comes from. Democracy is only democracy when it votes the right way. When it doesn't, the tax roll in, the ballots turn, and the news is buried. Washington does not promote democracy, it promotes subordination. The rhetoric of liberty is the velvet glove. Beneath it is the iron fist of imperial convenience. Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, funnily enough, I actually used that exact metaphor not so long ago. Synchronicities. CSW should be using that today, 23rd of June. Wow. Yeah, actually gonna send that. Here we go. Got this one. It's important. It's really important. There we go. Hey, nice. Right, that's that done. Here we go on the Kellenschweller countdown. We've got 87 days left. 87 days. Come on. 365 days of Bitcoin history. On the 23rd of June 2021, JMac was murdered in a Spanish prison. John McAfee, antivirus creator, found dead in prison cell, was the report on the BBC. But JMac had already posted out. He said, getting subtle messages from US officials saying, in effect, we're coming for you, McAfee. We're going to kill yourself. I got a tattoo today just in case. If I suicide myself, I didn't. I was whacked. Check my right arm. And then that's what he did. So, jeepers. We know how brutal. I mean, we are living in really bad times. And again, Bitcoin is the only way out of this. Like, literally. Jeepers. Right, that is a 19-minute show. Excellent. Coming up to 20 minutes. We'll leave you there. Hope you enjoyed it. So, as ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Sembi.com, Handcash.io, Rockwallet.me, Simply.cash, Relays.com, or Senti.ch. We'll leave you there. Hope you enjoyed it. And as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
2 years ago, you got SegWit, which we lied and cheated and stealed, and I was part of the lying and cheating and stealing to get SegWit, to get Lightning, which, by the way, had critical vulnerabilities and lost people's money.
The king still has one more move.
Remember, Bitcoin is BSV. Everything else is BS.